Welcome back, folks. I'm Frizz, and today I'd like to talk about one of the most important elements of party composition in Pathfinder 2e, that being out-of-combat healing. It might sound like a pretty boring role to fill in a party, but it's incredibly valuable. And also, just because you're responsible for out-of-combat healing doesn't mean that is what defines your character. Any character can, in some way, heal people out of combat. And also, just ask yourself this. Would you rather go into combat at half health or full health? Let's get into it. Alright, so to start off with, there are two main sources of out-of-combat healing. First off is the medicine skill, and the second option is focus spells and other forms of magic. Let's talk about medicine first. Okay, so healing people up with medicine isn't very complicated at all, but its main draw is that literally any class can be good at medicine. It's just a skill. So long as you're willing to invest some skill increases and skill feats, you can be a good medic. While treating wounds does start off really weak, as it just heals 2 to 8 hit points, as you improve your medicine proficiency, it can heal basically as much as you want it to. The reason why medicine is so good is because of the continual recovery and ward medic skill feat. Continual recovery lets you heal people over and over and over again, rather than having to wait for an hour between each treatment, and Ward Medic allows for you to treat more and more people until you can just treat the entire party, scaling based off of your proficiency. Nothing beats healing the entire party for like 40 or 50 health at level 7. Also, if you're looking to improve the effectiveness of the medicine skill, the Assurance skill feat and the Medic archetype are incredible for someone focusing on out-of-combat healing. When it comes to focus spells and magic in general, for out-of-combat healing, you've got a lot of options, and I'm not going to be able to talk about them all. Generally speaking though, focus spells are going to be better than spending spell slots, because you have to heal people a lot outside of combat, and you have a limited number of spell slots. The one exception is if you're in a time crunch for any reason, because if you get into a fight and someone kidnaps a party member and they're running away, you don't have 10 minutes to heal up before the next encounter, you just have to go. I mean, yeah, clerics are going to have access to a fair amount of high-level heal spells, but those are best spent in emergencies in combat. If you're looking to heal using a focus spell, there are quite a few ways to do it. Lay on Hands is the most obvious healing focus spell, and it's pretty great. While its healing isn't massive or anything, it's super consistent. You aren't going to be rolling dice, so you can always figure out exactly how much you're going to be healing and how long it's going to take for you to lay on hands people to full health. Obviously, champions are the best at this, since Lay on Hands is available to all good champions, but anyone can get access to the focus spell by taking the champion multi-class archetype or the Blessed One dedication. If you're just after Lay on Hands, stick to the Blessed One archetype. It's a lot better for Lay on Hands specific. Another important element here, which is true for all healing focus spells, is that you're limited by your number of focus points and how many you can get back by refocusing. Basically, if you grab a feat that gets you 2 focus points back whenever you refocus, you can double how quickly you heal outside of combat using spells like Lay on Hands. A lot of classes have feat like these, and if you can take it, you are set for out-of-combat healing. Alright, since I'm not going to be going over every single healing spell in the game, I'm just going to point out a few standouts. First off, Wholeness of Body is an amazing, if selfish, healing spell, as it heals more than Lay on Hands, but it only targets the monk. It's really great if your monk just gets the shit beaten out of them every single fight. Next, both Hymn of Healing and Life Boost are really significant. There are going to be a lot of them that I'm forgetting. So if you can think of any, let me know down in a comment, because I don't know every single focus spell in the game. Although, really, if you're going to be comparing any focus spell that I haven't mentioned, compare it to Lay on Hands, because Lay on Hands is the gold standard for out-of-combat healing focus spells. Now that we've talked about how on earth you heal outside of combat, let's talk about why you should be doing it in the first place. Now, obviously, being hurt isn't good. After all, low number bad, but big number good. But seriously, whenever you have a finely tuned system like Pathfinder 2nd Edition, there are going to be assumptions that are made by the designers about parties. One of the most common assumptions that people who make monsters and encounters are going to be making is that player characters can take a couple of hits. Basically, pretty much every encounter are going to be made under the assumption that the party has health to spare. Now keep in mind that I said the party there, not just the front line. Yeah, obviously people next to the giant scary monster are going to get smacked around a lot, but if they actually get knocked down or something, or they get past the front line, then it's important that everyone is, or at least has a good amount of health. Effectively, beating an encounter is going to cost every party health. And if you don't have enough health, that's very, very bad. Everybody's health matters in an emergency, so being healed up is great. Now, if you've scouted out a place or you know exactly where you're going to be fighting, then you obviously have a lot more information to go off of. But let's be real here, basically every single Pathfinder party just kicks down the door and fights whatever's on the other side. So you should probably be treating every possible encounter like it's a severe encounter. What this all boils down to is relatively simple. You never know when you're going to need full health, and when you need to be at full health, you really, really need to be at full health. Having a consistent and fast way of healing up outside of combat can easily save the entire party's lives many times over. Having a dedicated healer for the middle of combat is in no way vital for every single Pathfinder 2e party to have, but having someone patch you up outside is. Hell, having multiple people is great. The only type of out-of-combat healing that I've talked about that doesn't stack with itself is treating wounds with medicine. So go crazy and have like 2 or 3 people with lay on hands. That will be crazy. Just talk with your party about how healing is going to work for that party, or PCs are just going to keep on dying until someone brings in someone who can heal up the party outside of combat. Thanks for watching. This whole subject seems to come up a ton online, so I just decided to get my 2 cents out there. I don't think that it's made clear enough to new players, just from the rules alone, that Paizo is expecting people to be at full health for a lot of combats, but I don't think that it's the absolute end of the world. What do you guys think? Have you ever been in a party with little to no healing? Let me know down below in a comment. Until I see you next, live a wonderful life.